What do you call a man whose pants are made out of leaves? Russell. Today we are going to be having a look at the BRINYTE T28IR. This is an IR illuminator that I've enjoyed using recently. As you can see, I've taken off my beloved Element Titan. I just have to... And I have replaced it with my somewhat problematic ATN X-Lite Pro. It's been a bit of an ordeal getting that thing to work again. I had an error where the screen, it didn't look like it was on, but it was on because the screen was black. And in the manual they say you have to hold the power button down for 15 seconds to reset it, but it's more like you have to hold it down for a whole minute and then it reset. And then the batteries were flat, and then the batteries in the other illuminator that comes with it were flat, and then I couldn't find the memory card, so there was just a million problems. But we're here now and it's done and it's working and we're back online. The reason why I wanted to get a new illuminator is this other illuminator, the small one that comes with the torch kit, with the X-Lite Pro 4K kit. I purchased my sight kit for about $1,200. They've since gone up quite a bit in price, but because it's like the Pro kit, it comes with the illuminator as well. But there's some good things about that little illuminator and some bad things, and hence why we are upgrading. And BRINYTE was generous enough to send me a T28IR to play with and test and make a video about. So yeah, here we are. That's my relationship with BRINYTE, by the way. I didn't pay for the torch, they sent it to me, but on my channel you won't see me making negative reviews because I just send the product back if I don't like it. So that way there's, you know, a good vibe on the channel. You only have to watch things that are actually good, and this torch is one of them, so it's been very handy. I also have the normal visible light T28 and the Oath Keeper, and also a headlamp, which has been excellent. All four torches have been really, really good, and I've enjoyed using them a lot. I love carrying the P18 around. It's great. Yes, wonderful. Anywho, any hoozles. Let's have a quick look at the specs. So the T28IR has 3 different lighting options. You've got IR 940 nm, IR 850 nm, and then a white light. So this, if you're wondering, for those of you playing at home, with the X-Lite 4K, the X-Lite 4K can actually see both the 940 and the 850, but it much prefers the 850. The 940 is kind of a little, you know, not great. But the 850, crystal clear, very nice. And the nature of these T28 torches is such that it's like infinitely adjustable. So, well, maybe not infinitely adjustable, but you've got stepless adjustability. That's probably a better word. So on the back you have a brightness dial. I'm just using the other IR to give you an example. This one's got the red light, the white light, and the green light on it. And it moves on this switch here, which is excellent. Very good, very simple human interface design. We'll leave it on red so it's easy to see. And at the front of the torch, you can focus it into a very, very, very tight beam, which shoots a very long way. And you can open it up into a nice wide flood as well. And the T28IR acts in that exact same way. It's very handy. It focuses in tighter than the illuminator that comes with the X-Sight Pro, and when you upgrade your light source, it's pretty much like upgrading your night sight. It's pretty incredible. You sort of, once you get used to using a lower powered illuminator, even though that illuminator is quite good, once you put that new one on, the new illuminator, it just like breathes a whole new level of usability into the old X-Sight. I've found that with the scope zoomed all the way in, your field of view is a little too wide to have the torch completely focused into a tight spot beam, but it's kind of good because you just crack it open a little bit and you get this perfect spread of flood, and you can see hundreds of meters off into the bush. So those are the three lighting options. It has one 21700 rechargeable lithium ion battery, which lasts about 4 hours, and it really does last 4 hours. It's really good. Strange charging mechanism, same weird charging mechanism that you get with the other T28. So you take the battery out, and there is a small USB port in the battery. So you plug your USB directly into that battery, and then off she goes. And it works a treat, whereas this other illuminator that comes with the X-Sight Pro, that one takes two CR123s or whatever it is. And I've got a couple of rechargeable CR123s, but the CR2, sorry, not CR123s. The weird little camera batteries, and it burns through them at an alarming rate. Like you can't sort of sit there and hunt all night with that illuminator unless you've got 2 or 3 sets of batteries, remembering that you have to take 2 of them with you per charge, which is really annoying. So that's definitely a tick in the box for the T28IR. That just having a normal battery that lasts a long time is so much better than having to deal with camera batteries. It's like, why would you do that? But that being said, this illuminator that comes with it is obviously a pretty low budget option, whereas you're going to be looking at a little bit more for the BRINYTE. Seeing as we're on the subject of price, in Australia, I've just found on eBay here, you can get this one for $219.95. So it's a little spicy, but it's a very well made torch, and I think it's worth it. It's been great, especially to sort of extend the range and the capability of your scope. If you're sort of on the fence about upgrading to a more powerful, more sensitive scope, a great way to dodge that, $2,500 bullet is to spend $200 on a really good illuminator, and yeah, kick you up into the next level of what you can actually do with your night sight. So in the box, you get your battery, you get a lanyard, you get a USB charging cable, and you get a remote pressure switch. Similar to the pressure switch that you get for your Oathkeeper, it's just same thing, screws onto the back, and you've got your little sticky pad to stick it to your rifle, and then you can control it with the buttons. Nice little touch. It's nice to know that you don't have to go and search through and buy all these other accessories. It just comes with the ones that you need, and optionally you can get a couple of different mounting options. Mounting options, I'm actually kind of more partial to the mounting option that comes with the style of mounting option that comes with the X-Sight, because it allows for a little bit of movement. It's sort of like a weird little scope ring with a recessed inlet inside of it, and looks like it's a 3D printed plastic bush that goes into that little convex sort of, I don't know what you would call it, but it allows you to move the torch around inside the ring, so you can tighten it down, and it has a good amount of friction on it, so it doesn't move if you don't want it to move. But then when you're looking through your scope, if you find that you've sort of misaligned your torch a little tiny bit, you can just sort of aim it to where it needs to be, and it has just enough movement to perfectly set the torch where you want it. And with shooting something like the Impact, you've got quite a lot of height over bore, and if you put the torch down the bottom like I have here, that's a fair amount of change to go over a long distance, and you are going to be shooting longer distances if you have the capability to do so. So it would be nice, I think, to find out whatever that type of mount is called, and get a bigger one of them, because the body of the Artemis is a little bit bigger than the body of this generic whatever it is, this little illuminator that comes with the X-Lite Pro. So yes, not super excited about the mounting options that I have available to me at the moment, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge in the future. We'll get something made. BRINYTE did also send me a magnetic barrel clamp. Annoyingly, the barrel, well, not annoyingly, but these barrels are an aluminium sleeve with a steel liner, so it's sort of not quite strong enough magnetically to sit on it. And if there was more steel on the gun, I would probably put it on the gun somewhere, but everything on the gun is pretty much made out of alloy, except the charging handle, and obviously I'm not going to use that. But yeah, and I'm definitely not putting it on a scope with with a camera in it, because the magnet would definitely eat that camera for breakfast, because it's quite a strong magnet, case in point. And it would work really well if you had a steel barrel and you weren't particularly concerned about changing your harmonics, or if you were happy to leave the torch and the magnet in the same spot on your barrel and zero the gun, you'd probably be alright that way. But yeah, for my purposes, this mounting system, not super great, not super useful for me, but I can see how it would be for other people. And it would actually be really good for working on the car as well. Stick your torch wherever you need it to be and don't have to yell at the kids to hold the torch in the right spot for you. On their website, they don't really have a technical spec available for the T28IR, but they do claim that it will shoot a beam out to 525 plus meters, which is quite the throw, quite the claim. But remembering that it's not just a standard torch, it's not like a wide spot floodlight like something like the Oathkeeper is. It's adjustable, so when you zoom in, you get this ridiculously bright small patch, and that really does go a very long way. With the white light in my backyard, I can see quite clearly about 300 meters. It's very bright still at 300 meters. So with the equivalent of that in the 850 nm IR light, I can quite clearly see a fairly bright spot over 300 meters, and if you open it out to a flood, it sort of opens out quite wide, and anything that's reflective really shows up at a very long way away. If something has the cruel misfortune of turning around and looking at you directly, you can see those eyes from miles and miles away. And in this, with my current setup, I'm now limited by the scope. I'm not limited by the torch anymore. So yeah, it's definitely got more than enough throw for what I need to do. And I think if you had a better scope to take full advantage of that 525 plus meters, I think you'd be a believer. So aside from that, not really much more to say. I've been very impressed with it. To wrap things up, I was out there the other night just looking into my dam, and it was a nice clear night, so I could see the perfect clear reflection of all of the trees up on the side of the dam and the stars inside the actual reflection of the pool and everything. It's light years ahead, forgive the pun, of this other illuminator that comes with it. So I think I will probably put that one up for sale. I can't see myself using it again, just because of the annoying nature of the batteries. That's probably the biggest knock that I could give on the standard illuminator. But yeah, this Artemis, it's going to be living in close quarters with my scope, and yeah, definitely going to find a new mounting system for it. But as far as value for money goes and usability and everything, I think it's great. It's definitely a worthy option, so make sure you jump over onto BRINYTE's website, have a bit of a read, have a bit of a play, check out these beautiful images that I've managed to pull out of my scope, and have yourself a time with a nice new IR illuminator if you're in the market for one. So yeah, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, smash that like button, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.